Welcome to this video in the EPFO playlist where we shall discuss 15 multiple choice questions on Indian economy. Question number 1. Interest rate policy is a part of which of the following? Fiscal policy, monetary policy, industrial policy, all of the above. Right answer is monetary policy. It is by means of the monetary policy that a country's central bank controls the money supply for economic stability. RBI implements the policy through instruments like open market operations, bank rate policy, reserve system, credit control policy, etc. All of these instruments can lead to change in interest rate or money supply in the economy. Monetary policy can be expansive with reduced interest rates or contractionary with increased interest rates. Question number 2. Which of the mentioned properties is applied by the banks as a fundamental benchmark to calculate the Indian currency loans and credits? Rate of interest of bank, rate of interest according to the base, rate of MCLR, interest according to repo. Right answer is rate of MCLR. MCLR stands for Marginal Cost of Funds Based Lending Rate. MCLR is the minimum lending rate below which a bank is not permitted to lend. It is a reference rate for banks to determine the interest they can levy on the loans given by them. And this MCLR is based on the loan tenure, that is, the period of repayment of the loan. What is marginal cost of funds? It is the average rate at which deposits with similar maturities were raised during a specific period before the review rate. Here we come across another term, repo. Repo rate is the lending rate where the commercial banks borrow money from RBI. Reverse repo rate is when RBI borrows money from the banks. Question number 3. How is the CD ratio defined in the field of banking strategies? Cash deposit ratio, credit debit ratio, cash debt ratio, current debt cumulative proportion. Right answer is cash deposit ratio. Cash deposit ratio is the ratio of how much a bank lends out of the deposits it has mobilized. It is indicative of the bank's core funds used for lending, which is the main purpose of a bank. Question number 4. Which among the following is the oldest stock exchange in India? Multi Commodity Exchange, National Commodity and Derivative Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange. Right answer is the Bombay Stock Exchange. Bombay Stock Exchange was established in 1875 by a cotton merchant named Premchand Roychand. It is also the oldest stock exchange in Asia and the 10th oldest in the world. During the initial years, that is during the 1850s, the brokers used to meet under banyan trees and had to keep shifting places until they got their permanent location, where they formed the official organization in 1875 and called it the Native Share and Stock Brokers Association. Question number 5. Dairy comes under which sector of the economic activity? Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. The right answer is primary sector. Economic activities means generating income, and the different sectors are primary, secondary, and tertiary. Under primary sector, there is direct utilization of natural resources, as in fishing, apiculture. Apiculture refers to beekeeping, where they produce honey and beeswax, etc. In secondary, the raw materials are being processed to add value to the goods, as in shoe industry. In the tertiary sector, it involves manufacturing, production, services, trade, etc., as in transportation industry, telecommunication industry. Question number 6. In economy, which among the following can be measured by calculating concentration ratios? Development, inflation, competition, social security. Right answer is competition. Concentration ratio indicates the level of competition between companies within the same industry. It shows whether a particular industry is dominated by a single firm, which indicates monopoly with high concentration, that is close to 100%, or where there are few firms dominating the industry, indicating oligopoly with medium concentration, or where there are a large number of firms competing with each other, which indicates perfect competition and the concentration ratio is very close to 0%. It helps in understanding the market structure of the industry, but it is not an absolute measure. Question number 7. In the context of banking, a certificate of deposit is money market instrument, negotiable instrument, transferable instrument, all of the above. Right answer is all of the above. Certificate of deposit holds a fixed amount of money for a fixed period of time for which the bank will pay interest, something like your savings account. But it differs from fixed deposits when it comes to the rates of interest, where CDs are offered higher rates because they involve higher risk as an investment option. And certificate of deposits are generally utilized by businesses than individuals, and they are meant for short term maturity periods. Also, certificate of deposit cannot be used as collateral, unlike fixed deposits, wherein 90% can be taken as overdraft. Question number 8. Which among the following imposes a greater burden on the poor than on the rich? Progressive tax, regressive tax, lump sum tax, proportional tax. Right answer is regressive tax. We shall see it as a comparison with progressive tax. Regressive tax is applied uniformly regardless of income, whereas progressive tax has tax rates, higher tax rates for higher income individuals. In regressive tax, larger percentage is imposed on low income earners than on middle and high income earners, whereas progressive tax takes smaller percentage from low income earners with higher tax for middle and high income earners. Regressive tax examples are sales tax, excise tax, tariffs, etc., which is applied for everyone. Whereas progressive tax have different slabs, as in income taxes, estate taxes. Question number 9. A Goldilocks economy is represented by low inflation, high economic growth, high inflation, low economic growth, low inflation, steady economic growth, high inflation, high economic growth. The right answer is low inflation and steady economic growth. It is inspired from the Walt Disney cartoon Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which brings us to this phrase, not too hot, not too cold, but just right, which is an ideal form of economy. It builds a market friendly monetary policy with low inflation, and it is just warm enough for steady moderate growth, just preventing recession. Question number 10. Per capita income of a country is obtained by dividing national income by which of the following? Total working population, total population of the country, area of the country, volume of the capital used. Right answer is total population of the country. Per capita income is the ratio of the national income to the population of the country or any geographical area being considered. It indicates the standard of living and quality of life of the individuals within that geographical area. It takes into account every individual, not just working individuals, but also the newborn babies. It is also called the average income and is a measure for calculating human development index. But this overstates economic growth because it does not consider inflation. Question number 11. The term capital is defined as the financial wealth of, which is further utilized in generation of wealth, or wealth which is stored and saved inside storage and lockers, the wealth that is kept for the sake of property, the wealth that is saved and kept for future utilization. Right answer is which is further utilized for generation of more wealth. Capital is defined as the amount of monetary or exchange value possessed. It reflects a tangible value that is transferred in a financial transaction. So, examples could be the physical money that you hold, real estate, cryptocurrency, or the stocks and bonds that you hold. Question number 12. The criteria for defining the poverty line primarily depends on the factor of condition of living and accommodation, the type and criteria of employment, expenditure required for the acquisition of goods and associated resources, literacy level. Right answer is expenditure required for the acquisition of goods and associated resources. Poverty line defines lack of funds for basic requirements like food, clothing, and shelter. Poverty has negative impact on society in the form of high infant mortality, less nutrition, child labor, inadequate education, child marriage, etc. Niti Aayog, erstwhile Planning Commission of India, periodically estimates poverty line and poverty ratio every year, with which it recommends certain schemes. And the certain government schemes to improve this are Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana, MGNREGA, which is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, etc. Question number 13. Which of the following types of economic planning is a feature of mixed economy? Indicative planning, comprehensive planning, imperative planning, perspective planning. Right answer is indicative planning. We shall see this as a comparison with imperative planning. Indicative planning is directive in nature, and imperative planning is planning by inducement or incentives. Planning is found in capitalist countries and mixed economies like in India, whereas in imperative planning, there is a central planning authority which makes unilateral decisions uh, and which does not consider the market conditions at all. Indicative planning, in that the government facilitates market functioning than just issuing commandments. So, in a way, it helps in public and private companies to coexist. Whereas in imperative planning, the government issues rigid rules and regulations and has a very tight control of the market. Question number 14. What is the maximum land for the right to ownership of land farmed by tribals or forest dwellers? 6 hectares, 5 hectares, 4 hectares, 8 hectares. Right answer is 4 hectares. This comes under the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act issued in 2006. This act is also known by different names: the Tribal Land Act, Forest Rights Act, Tribal Rights Act, Tribal Bill. Through this bill, the tribals are given the right to hold and live in forest land. It gives them the right of ownership, access to collect and use minor forest produce. And this ownership of a maximum of 4 hectares is subject to land being cultivated, means already cultivated. New land will not be under the purview of this act. And eligibility is for scheduled tribes residing in forest area prior to 13 December 2006. Question number 15. Which of the following industries were not exclusively reserved for the government under the industrial policy of 1948? Atomic energy, rail transport, arms and ammunition, fertilizers. Right answer is fertilizers. Under the Industrial Policy Resolution 1948 or the IPR 1948, the industries were divided into 4 groups. In Group 1 were the basic and strategic industries like arms and ammunition, rail transport, atomic energy, etc. Under Group 2 were key industries like coal, iron, steel, shipbuilding, telegraph, telephone, mineral oils, etc. Under Group 3 were 18 industries which included automobiles, tractors, machine tools, etc., and all remaining industries under Group 4. I hope this session was quite informative. Links to books related to EPFO recruitment exams are provided in the description. Hope they are useful. Do like, share, and subscribe if you like these videos. Thank you.